It is Wednesday, June 16th. I don't have my sunglasses on. I'm going to get my sunglasses because they just look cool. Wednesday, June 16th of 2021. And here I am again, speaking on the interwebs for Guy's Daily Drive. Bam! And welcome everyone to Guy's Daily Drive as I wind my way through the wilds. If I lived in West Virginia, this would work even better. But I don't. I live in Northern Virginia. I'm so sad. And it's been kind of an interesting week. There's a couple things that I'm looking at. I do other podcasts. I do the Mac to the Future live cast, which hopefully I'll be doing tonight with David Ginsburg and Warren Sklar. Of course, the My Mac podcast that I do with Gaz on the weekends. And I usually do Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices. What are you doing there, truck? Okay. But last night, and it was so odd, last night, starting at about 7:30, and it was the skies were absolutely clear. There was no rain, there was no thunderstorms, there was no high winds. It was just a beautiful night. All of a sudden the power started flickering, and about every 2 to 3 minutes it would flicker off enough to shut down the computers, not enough to kill the clocks in the kitchen, which I was grateful for, because every time we lose power for a significant amount of time, going back in and changing all those clocks, it's not that it's difficult, it's a pain in the ass. And I would prefer if they would just keep the same time that they had before. And then of course, also not only changing the clock on the coffee maker, but resetting the timer for the coffee maker, and all these other first world problems. But it happened like just once. It's an anomaly. It's like, oh, well, that was weird. But then it happened again, and again, and again, and I ended up not going on the show for a couple. Number one, that was the biggest reason. It was just so odd that the power was flickering like that, and I didn't want to be in the middle of doing that and have everything shut down. The other reason was I came home with a terrible headache, and I took some Motrin when I first got home. But it hadn't really kicked in yet by the time all this other stuff was going on. So rather than pushing the envelope to try to do somebody else's podcast, and the Mac Voices livecast that Chuck does on Tuesday nights, and you'll have anywhere from 6 to 10 people on it at one time. But they have a tendency to go very long. An hour and a half to 2 hours is not unusual. And if you're not feeling great, that's just not a good time. So I just decided not to do it. But it was just so odd that the power was flickering like that with no other conditions that was going on. One of the other things, I can't believe I did. You guys know that I'm kind of a microphone nut. I love microphones. Well, somebody on Twitter, Nibs, I can't remember his whole Twitter name. I'll just call him Nibs. He's a member of the Carl's Back and Forth gang. Sent me a link to this company in the UK that makes microphones out of tin cans. And I listened to some samples of it, and they're not real expensive. It was like 15, 20 pounds, English pounds, which is $20 to $25, something like that. And they don't sound good. They don't sound good at all. They sound pretty bad. But it's a tin can with what looks like just a cloth or burlap covering the front with a rubber band or something to hold it onto the tin can. And then it's got a, what is it, a 1/4-inch jack, 3.5 millimeter jack on the side to plug the cable in. And then, of course, you plug that into your interface, or, you could probably, if you have a computer with an audio in jack, you could plug it into there as well. Doesn't really matter, a lot of times when you talk about microphones, it's like, well, you want a clean sound, and so you don't want to use your computer's audio in port because it's typically pretty bad. That's not great. But in this case, it's like, does it really matter? It's not, there is no way that you can make this microphone sound like, an SM7B or a Shure SM58 or anything. You're not going to make this microphone sound good. Not happening. But just the sheer novelty of a microphone built out of a tin can, and I'm gonna have to take it apart if I can. I don't know if they have it sealed, but I will take it apart and I will do a video on it, because it just the whole concept of it just sounded so cool. So that's coming. I don't know how long that's going to take to get here. It's shipped. I know that it's shipped, but how long it will take to get from the UK over to the United States, I have no idea. And after I do this review on it, or this video, or whatever, I don't know what else I'll do with it. There are, you can take a microphone and using effects make it sound like it's something out of like the 20s or the 30s with, questionable audio quality and all the rest of that. And I guess with this mic, you've got to add filters to get it up to that kind of quality. I don't know, but it just looked really, really cool. Speaking of microphones, I have an article over at mymac.com. It's linked in the Mac to the Future Facebook group, and it's also linked on my personal Facebook page about how to get, or what kind of audio gear to get under $100 and get pretty good sound. So you can go and check that out, but I'll give you some spoilers right here. If you're looking to spend less than $100, go over to Amazon, and you're going to need 4 different things. And if you spend just a touch more than $100, five different things. So the first thing you'll need, of course, is a microphone. And there are a lot of really, really good microphones of all types out there. But in order to keep it under $100 and not have it sound like garbage, your choices are much more limited. So in this particular case, I recommended Behringer BA85A. This is a dynamic microphone, handheld dynamic microphone. And it sounds really, really good. It's about $25. Then you need an interface so that you can plug you can get the sound from that microphone into your computer. So in that particular case, I chose, again, this is a product from Behringer, and there's lots of other interfaces out there, but not that many that will keep you under $100 and sound pretty good. And that's the Behringer UMC22. Don't get the UM2. That is a plastic piece of crap from Behringer with the Xenix preamps. Get the UMC22. That gives you an XLR input. It gives you a 1/4-inch jack, so if there's something else you want to plug in, like a guitar or whatever, you can. And then you can also, as a bonus, record on 2 different tracks. You can have one track for your microphone and another track for a guitar or some other plugged-in instrument. You could actually hook up another microphone to it. If you have a microphone that can use a 1/4-inch jack, you can use that as well. So then you also need something to kind of hold it in place. And there's tons of these on Amazon, and it's like a 13 to 15-inch boom arm. You can find them for $15 or so over on Amazon. And then the last thing you're going to need, the one I recommended in the article is from Neewer, Neewer, and it was like, I think it was like $14. The last thing you need is an XLR cable, which is going to connect between the microphone and the audio interface. And in the article I chose, it was just an Amazon Basics 10-foot long XLR cable, which should give you plenty of room to kind of wrap it around the boom arm and get it all the way to the interface. And it's, negligible price. But all in all, everything I just mentioned comes in at about $97. So $97 to record your voice and sound pretty good and get that into your computer. And if you can spend just a little bit more, this will help with plosives, which is the hard S and F and P sounds. As you speak, you can kind of hear the air from your mouth hitting the microphone. It's like these little pop filters that just fits right over the top of the microphone. And the one I chose in the article is like $6, and you get 5 of them, and they're all different colors, so you can choose the color that you like. So that was $97 plus $6 for the pop filter. And if you spend a little bit more than that, you can get a slightly better boom arm. It was like about $20 to $25 that included a screw-on pop filter that you can move in and out of place. So everything all told, no more than, you can go for $100 and have a perfectly usable setup, or you can spend about $120 and have an even slightly better setup. But that is going to do it for today. Thank you all so very, very much for joining me today here on Guy's Daily Drive. If you'd like to get a hold of me, email address is guy@mymac.com. Twitter is MacParrot and VertShark. The website is vertshark.com. The YouTube channel is VertShark. Do a search on that and then like, share, subscribe. That's all you got to do. It's so easy. And we will see all of you next time right here on Guy's Daily Drive. Bye-bye.